Good morning. Today we're going to do one of our nice Relaxy line drawings. So just grab a piece of paper and a marker and let's go. First thing we're going to do is just draw a nice frame inside whatever the border of your paper is. Easy peasy. You should be able to do this pretty simply. Then we're going to go corner to corner. It doesn't matter if your lines are super straight. It's all right if it's supposed to be straight, but if it's not, that's all right. And then I'm going to go from this corner to this corner. So then we just have an X in a box. And then I'm going to split each one of these. So we're splitting this one, splitting this one, and splitting this one, and splitting this one. There we go. All right, so now I want you to grab a scrap piece of paper. And we're going to do a little practice. So just draw a triangle. Excuse me. So when we draw these triangles, we're going to start at the point where things meet, and we're going to go to here. So we're going to just go right up like this. And then we're going to start at this point we just made, and we're going to go down to the next flat spot. So there's our flat spot. And we're going to keep doing that same thing until we have this whole triangle filled in. So the point we just made to the flat spot, and point to flat, 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 and you're just going to keep doing that. And remember that you always start at an intersection and you end on the flat line. And then you're done. So that's how we're going to work in each of these triangles. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a starter. So we're going to go up this way and up that way, and then down this way. This will make more sense in just a minute. All right. And then in this one, we'll go out this way. So now we're just going to start in with making our lines. So we're going to go from the center point up to this flat spot here. And then we'll just come over to our next flat place and keep going. And you can make these lines as close together or as far apart as you would like them. That is completely up to you. We're just going from the point we just made up to the next flat spot. Up to the next flat spot. And over to the next flat spot. And we'll just keep doing that until we get to the very middle. And it's okay if you mess up. If this is your first one, don't worry about it. All right, so that's number 1. Now we're going to basically do the opposite in this triangle here. So I'm going to start at the center, and I'm going to go up to the flat spot, and then I'm going to go start at that point, and I'm going to come over to the next flat spot, and then I just keep going. So I'm hitting my flat spot, and I'm coming up to the next one. So point that we just made over to the next flat spot. And we'll just keep doing that, going from the point to the flat spot. From that point up to the flat spot. Point to the flat spot. And you may feel your hand is getting more in tune with this movement as we go through, and that's what we want. Your brain's learning a new little skill. Point to the next flat spot. Point to flat spot. Point to flat spot. So we've got the top 2 done. Now, depending on what direction your hand likes to draw lines, you can flip your paper over, or you can just leave it the way it is. I'm gonna leave mine the way it is because I'm demonstrating. So we're gonna start with this next one. We're gonna keep going from the point we just made to the next flat spot. Point to flat. This line is yucky. Sorry about that, y'all. My hand does not like to make the line that goes that way. My hand likes going from up to down and left to right. Okay, point to the next flat spot. Point to flat, point to flat, and so on and so forth. All right, so we've got that one done, and we'll move over to this one, and you can see we're going to be going down this way. So we'll start at that center. We're going to go down to the bottom there, and then come up and over, and go from our point to our flat spot, and back down and over to a flat spot. You can see that my lines aren't perfectly straight, but that's not going to make a big difference in our end product. So go from the point we just made down to the next flat spot. And on this one, we are going clockwise. So we've got our top and our bottom finished. And then we just need to work on these side ones. So we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing. I'm going to move my desk up a little bit, make it just a little more comfortable for myself. So I'm going to do this one first. So I'm going to go from this little corner way up to this flat spot and then bring it down. And then back over. And from point to flat, point to flat, point to flat, point to flat, point to flat. That's what helps me get through it. I just say point because I know that I just made this point. I'm going to the next flat spot. Point to flat. All right, so we've got that one done. And next we'll do this one. So we're going from this point over to the side, and then from that point that we just made, we'll go down and then back up. Oh, here's the line my hand doesn't love to make. To flat, and then point to flat, and point to flat, point to flat, point to flat, point to flat. Point to flat, point to flat, point to flat, point to flat. Gets a little weird here in the center, but I can finish it off. All right, so now we just have this side left. So let's come over here and we'll do this top one, and you can see we're going this way. So I'm going to start at that middle point and go over to my flat edge, and then come up from that point to this flat edge, and go from that point down to this flat edge. And we'll just keep going in this clockwise motion from point to flat, point to flat, point to flat. And remember, you're hitting that flat edge. Perfect. We're making a brand new point. Point to flat, point to flat. Point to flat until you don't have any more room. And then you've almost made it. We just have one more left. So this one, we're going out this way. So we're going to start at the center and head out to the flat part. And then we'll come down to the next flat spot, and then we'll go back up to the next flat spot, and we'll just keep this moving from point to flat, point to flat, point to flat, point to flat, point to flat. It's looking just beautiful. We're going from point to the next next flat place. All right, so now you're done, and this is your really cool, I'm gonna sign mine, because I like to sign stuff when I'm finished. And there we have it. Now, if you want to color this in, you can. There are a lot of really cool ways to do it. I am going to do mine, but I'm going to show you really, really quickly. And then you can choose how you'd like to do it. All right, so I've got my watercolor paint set. You could paint this with markers. You could color this in with markers. You can paint it. You can leave it the way it is. But I'm using a giant set of watercolor paints. So do whatever you would like, whatever you've got the supplies for. This is what I think I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go, I think I'm gonna do maybe some blues and golds, which will be a surprise to no one who knows me because I love blues. All right, so I think these side things here for me are gonna be blue. You can kind of make your own determinations as to what the new shapes are that you've created. This makes it really interesting. But like I said, you don't have to paint it. This is a completely optional step. And you can kind of decide like where these little shapes begin and end. And I try to just kind of mirror them, like do the same thing on each side. And like, since I did this little tiny chunk here, I'm going to choose to also make this little part blue. But that is absolutely artist's choice. You can do that or you don't have to. All right, and then I'm going to go, let's see, how do I want to do this? So I'm going to take this little chunk and I'm hopefully making it where you can still see the lines that I drew. Excuse me. Very allergic to the day today. The beautiful weather outside is bringing some things that are making me quite sneezy. All right, next I'm gonna go with, let's see, I think I'm gonna go with another blue. I'm gonna paint these ones. And remember that you're the artist. You can paint these or color them or leave them blank any way that you want to. You could do every other section. You could color to really keep the stripes in there, keep the lines visible, and perhaps even stress them a little bit more. I'm just enjoying kind of following these little lines and putting down colors that I enjoy looking at. That's just the best when you're in control and you get to put whatever you want on that paper and make it all yours. It's not a contest, it's not for a grade. It's not for anyone's approval. It's just for you to put what you like on some paper. And just let your brain play. Just keep making these really fun, creative decisions as you go. I'm loving this. All right, what color should I go with next? Thinking, should I stay with my blues or should I maybe go with like a really cool gold? Maybe I'm gonna go in some gold. That might be beautiful. All right, here I go. And I'm gonna try to paint near a section that I know is dry. Like these edges here look pretty dry. So I'm gonna go paint in here. I don't really want my paints to mix. If you're working in marker, then you will not have this problem. But in paints, I definitely don't want my watercolors to hit each other. So hopefully I've stayed far enough away from that line with my teal there. We'll see, won't we? Looks like I did miss a spot with my teal here. This needs to be teal. And that does too. And then down at the bottom, this needs to be teal. And this needs to be teal. All right. And I'm finding this really interesting because it's not exactly symmetrical. But I'm kind of painting in this symmetrical pattern, which is going to make it appear symmetrical, but then also our eye will notice that it's a little bit different in some parts. I'm trying to think right now, like what's the next color I'm going to use? Do I go green? Do I add purple, orange, pink? Or do I use more of these aquas? What do I do? I think I'm going to go with a little bit of an orange. For these sections here. I'm just going to paint my little boundary, and then I'm going to get some more water. And if you're using watercolor, you don't always have to go get more paint. Sometimes you can just grab water and you can use the pigment that you've already put down on the paper, and sometimes that's enough. Because we want watercolor to be pretty translucent. I do on this one. I want it to be very see-through because I want to be able to see all of these lines I made. trying really hard not to make my paint touch the other paint. Sometimes we want that, but at this time, I don't. I want the paint to mind me and do what I tell it to do. All right, and so even though this isn't symmetrical, I'm still gonna paint the same shape on the other side in that orange. Do I feel like bringing in next? I think I'm going to bring in a really bright yellow. Not quite as goldy as the yellow I used before, but like a really nice lemony yellow. Look at that. Woo! Back and kind of go over this with a little bit of water because it's kind of hiding my lines a bit. I don't want that. I want those beautiful lines to show through. I think I do. I think I need yellows here too. And you might be able to see on this one, I used a little bit less pigment than I did on the other yellow one, so it looks a little lighter. So I'm adding a little more of my paint in there. And then I'll also paint this one, my light yellow. All right, so we've got yellows, we've got oranges. What do I need next? Do I go purples? Do I go pinks? I think I'm going pinks. Or I've got like this orangey red. Maybe I'll try that. Okay. Let's try the orangey red. Oh yeah, that's working out. I like it. It's just opposite enough of this blue that it makes the colors contrast. Alright, so then for these last two little sections, let's see. Do I take it in an oranger direction or a pinker direction? What do we do? I think I'm gonna just stay with orange. I'm gonna go with a tiny bit of a darker orange. This is like the color of a carrot. Maybe also the color of an orange, but it just immediately makes me think of a carrot. Color of a pretty orange carrot. And then I'll get my last one in here. All right, so there we have it. It's our pretty, I just love it. It's very interesting. It's a very abstract, shapy thing that just makes your eyes go a lot of different directions. So there we have it.